Andris believes everyone has a unique gift and the right to share it. As a world-class wordsmith and also a huge Rush fan, he has a strong passion for helping people at some of the world's largest banks and insurance companies express their one-of-a-kind value propositions. I'm delighted to welcome Andris Pone of Coin Branding on Small Talk. Andris Pone of Coin Branding, welcome to Small Talk.
Thank you very much. Delighted to be here.
First and foremost, Andris, congratulations on your book. It's called Attract. I see a few copies right behind you. So first and foremost, congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There's a few things that we want to note from the book, and I'm really intrigued with this statement you make about personal branding isn't about you. Very intriguing. Help us understand that statement to those folks who are watching this segment.
Sure. I spent a lot of time in the book talking about the ways in which it is about you because, I believe that everyone has a unique gift and the right to share it. And I want to help people articulate what their difference really is because most people, although they are different, are not actually expressing themselves in a way that is different. And the book helps you do that. However, there's a bit of a surprise ending. And the surprise ending is that indeed personal branding at the end of the day isn't about you. And what does that mean? Well, if you make it all about yourself, let me put it this way. The people with the most powerful personal brands are the people that make other people feel something. I talk about, in the book, I talk about Rob Ford. In fact, there's a chapter entitled Why You Want to Be Like Rob Ford. And when I say that to people, I get a lot of funny looks. But the reality is that he, his popularity went up when the police, the Toronto police announced that they had a crack video. His popularity went up when he finally admitted, after a long length of time denying that he smoked crack, when he finally admitted he smoked crack, his popularity went up. Why is that? People were bonded to Rob Ford because they felt that he listened to them. He heard them, and people have a fundamental need to be listened to, appreciated, understood. And if you make it about other people, and Rob Ford, as we know, had many, many faults. However, there are still people today, many, who regard him hold him in very high esteem because he listened to them. He made it about other people. And the number one piece of advice that I can give anybody, yes, craft your personal brand foundation. I show you how in the book, but at the end of the day, if you make it about other people, you listen to them, you make them feel understood, you'll have the most powerful personal brand that you can imagine.
So for those who are watching this segment, Andris, what would be that one differentiator they could take away and say, okay, this is one thing I can differentiate my personal brand from someone else?
Well, there are four elements in the personal brand foundation that I propose in the book. And one of them, I think it really comes down to two elements. One of them is the core purpose. So that's why I exist, why I do what I do. And that is a great opportunity to differentiate because people, although they may, let's say you have two people that work in the marketing field, it's hard to differentiate on the basis that, hey, I work in the marketing field. It is easier to differentiate on the basis of what you fundamentally believe. And it's easier to differentiate on the basis of why you do what you do. It is more likely that your why is going to be different than someone else's why. So that's a great opportunity to differentiate. And then there's another element in the brand foundation called the position. And the brand position is defined as how I am different. That is where you want to articulate precisely what it is that makes you different. I show you some techniques. And again, I want to stress that the number one challenge is saying your difference in a way that is in fact different. So language, the language that you use, paying attention to the language that you use is extremely important. You've got to find a different way of saying that you are in fact different. Now, part of the problem there is that you may be different from other people, but those shades of difference, the degree of difference between you and someone else is going to be pretty small. So the emphasis is on the language that you use. You need to choose your words very carefully in order to express your difference in a way that is in fact different.
Okay, so we're now talking about building this foundation. You said there was 4. You mentioned the why and the difference. What are the other 2?
Core purpose is the first one. Second one is position, which I've mentioned. Yes. The third is character traits.
Okay.
Character traits are my voice, how I act and look. So that really relates to everything. Every way in which you express yourself, that's all about character. So you want to get that down on paper, exactly what your character traits are. And then the fourth is articulating your reasons to believe. So we have core purpose, position, character traits, and reasons to believe. The reasons to believe can be extremely important. If you think about Perrier, why do we believe Perrier is fancy and sophisticated? Well, because it comes from France. How would you feel if it came from New Jersey? You would not feel quite the same way about Perrier. Why do we believe that Nike are the best basketball shoes? Well, because LeBron James and Michael Jordan and all those guys wear Nike basketball shoes. So the reasons to believe in your brand can relate to a couple things. They can relate, and the focus would be on your accomplishments. So you really want to articulate your accomplishments in the reasons to believe, and they can be very powerful evidence that you are the rock star that you say you are.
Amazing conversation here, folks, with Andris Pone of Coin Branding. His contact information is right there with you on the screen. If you've got further questions, comments, you want to continue this conversation with Andris, please reach out to him. Reach out to him online. You've got what are the content information we have for you. Now, Andris, we do ask one last question of our guests, and that is, if you had a chance to have a small talk conversation with anyone living or past, who would that be?
Well, as anyone would find out if they read the book, or anyone who's ever known me will know that I'm a really big Rush fan. I've seen them 21 times, and they have relevance to me, not just in my personal life, but in my business career, because nobody, they face so much opposition and so many haters throughout a large part of their career, and yet they were unbelievably successful. And they did that by sticking with doing what they love to do and creating music that they loved. And if other people loved it too, then that was great. But they didn't make it a precondition of their music. They didn't set up to make music strictly on the basis of what other people would like. So I would love a conversation with Geddy Lee, frontman of Rush, and just talk in depth about what it was like, what it felt like to stick to your guns to like that and produce the music that he wanted to produce, and his bandmates, because there was so much pressure on them from their record label and other folks to be more mainstream, to be more radio friendly, instead of producing these 10, 12, and ultimately over 20-minute long epics. So I would love a conversation with Geddy Lee, no question.
Hey, Geddy Lee, if you're watching the segment, reach out to Andris. He loves to have a conversation with you.
Somewhere over there, not too far. So
that's right. This is brilliant. Thanks for that brilliant answer. I love it, because big Rush fan also over here on this side of the table too. So Andris Pone, Coin Branding, and now author of Attract. Thank you for being on Small Talk.
Totally my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you to Andris Pone of Coin Branding for joining me on Small Talk. You can also listen to the show as part of our podcast series. Now it's your turn. Please comment, subscribe, and share. If you've got a topic you'd like to discuss on the show, please give me a call or send me an email. We'll talk with you next time.